Hey folks, I am so happy that I get to film today because up until 4 hours ago, I did not have full use of both my nostrils because my allergies, I feel like I haven't shut up about them, but like, I couldn't breathe out of either of them yesterday. So it was a lot this weekend. But I'm excited to sit down and to respond to your unpopular opinions because that's what today's video is gonna be. I asked y'all on Instagram to leave me opinions that you feel are unpopular for me to respond to and to react to. Let's just get started. We will start with one that I definitely don't think is unpopular, but I want to reiterate it for everyone out there. Being a small brand is not an excuse not to pay product photographers or swatch models. Or any artist, anybody. Yes, that is 100% true. I would hope that smaller independent brands would respect independent artists and independent business owners who do things creative. I would hope that that's the case, but I know not always, it isn't always the case. But yes, I 100% agree with this because pay people what they're worth. Pay people for their expertise. If you are looking to somebody who knows more than you to do something better than you can do it, pay them to do it, please. If you don't want to pay somebody, if you don't have a budget, I understand not everybody has a budget for professional photographers. Teach yourself how to take decent photos. If you don't have the budget to pay somebody what they're worth, you figure it out yourself. Pay people for what they're worth. Pay people for their art. Okay, cool. From one photographer to the masses. Yes, please. Okay, next. Most social media trends are just techniques makeup artists have been doing for years. Oh my god, absolutely. Holy shit, so much. Oh my god. Especially with TikTok. I feel like with YouTube, makeup has been on YouTube for long enough and YouTube has been around long enough for people to kind of understand like where trends came from and like credit the people more often than not on YouTube. When it comes to TikTok, it's a whole new user base that's coming into social media, a whole new age group of people, and people think that they discovered something when it's nothing new. There is never anything new in makeup, ever. Like makeup, it's cyclical. There's things that get popular and things that fall out of style. Everything has been done in makeup. Like everything. So absolutely. A couple of years ago, the trends that were really like hitting big were really well known in like drag makeup circles. Not as much now because more like
the no makeup,
like glassy skin thing is more popular. But a few years ago, like 2018, like drag makeup was all over current makeup trends. It was like, what? No, anybody acting like any of that stuff was new was clearly lying to themselves. So yes, I agree with this. This next one, judge the makeup, not the brand owner.
Both is good.
Both are very different critiques. Judging makeup just base level, surface level is obviously important. It's like if you're a makeup review channel, you want to give people accurate information about products that they should or shouldn't spend their money on. So yes, judge makeup, but also the brand owner and the company, all of it is mixed in. It's like, I can't really separate the art from the artist these days when it comes to makeup brands. So I think we can do both, and I think we should do both because voting with your dollar is important, especially these days. So here's another one I absolutely disagree with.
Ranch is fucking disgusting.
What kind of ranch are you eating? Okay, I will agree that ranch is probably like overrated as far as like we don't need to put ranch on literally everything, but tater tots, ranch is delicious. Pepperoni pizza, especially like crust on pizza, ranch. I prefer dipping my crust in ranch than marinara, absolutely. Ranch is not disgusting. Is it overrated? Probably. Yeah, it's overrated. Next, false lashes aren't cute and actually look silly. No, I don't think false lashes across the board are. I don't think all false lashes look silly. I think there's some false lashes that look gorgeous, and some false lashes, whether or not they're big or small, like some of them actually look really nice. I don't wear them because I've never really been able to find a pair that's like easy enough to put on and worth my time and short enough to wear with glasses that make that much of a difference. I will say that there's so many Instagram accounts that I come across that are on like my explore page that are lash extensions, and
oh my god,
some of them look like a whole ass caterpillar on their eyes. I swear to God, every time I see these posts, the girls' eyes are always so damn red and irritated looking, and that can't be good for you. Like, that cannot be good for you. I cannot imagine that that is comfortable or worth it I don't know. At that point, why would you even put on eyeshadow? Because you're just gonna cover it up with your lashes. Like, I think false lashes work. I think some lash extensions get a little bit hairy.
See what I did there?
Next, I think mini travel size makeup should be the standard size of makeup. I've been thinking that more and more lately because I feel like so much makeup we don't end up using all the way, at least before it expires. Like, most of the makeup I have from like years ago, it's all expired technically. I still use it, but I definitely think makeup should just be smaller, but it also should be cheaper, because there's so many times when I've seen higher end makeup brands where they'll put out these like tiny little like bronzers that are like still $38. It's like, just make everything smaller and cheaper. Okay, cool. I know that makeup brands don't want to do that because they can say, oh, we're charging by the ounce and we're charging per ounce, and here's a $40 powder that you get so much of it when like you're never gonna finish it. So I agree with you on this. I think makeup should just be smaller in general. Next, autoimmune issues should be discussed more often in health classes and media coverage. Yes. I think so many things these days. I have an autoimmune disorder, so like I get you and I agree. I think autoimmune is far more common than people think it is. In the last 10 years, we found out that my sister and my mother both had an autoimmune disorder. My sister and my mom have celiac. That's autoimmune. I have a rare, much rarer autoimmune disorder that affects my muscles and my skin. So yeah, I think, health classes, absolutely. I mean, I haven't been in health class in like 14 years, so I don't really know what stuff is being taught in health class these days. What is being taught in health class these days? It's been almost half of my life since I've had to take a health class, so I have no idea. Next, this is actually a really interesting topic that I feel like could just be a video all by itself. Influencer makeup culture has probably fucked up the spending habits of a generation and glorifies greed. I think because of how much content and how much products are being pushed out now versus like 5 years ago. I mean, if you look at the number of releases companies put out now versus 5 years ago, it is staggering. It is wild to look at the difference. And because of social media and because of people wanting to get followers and wanting to post content about the newest stuff, they're going to buy a bunch of things. They're going to buy things more often. Like, realistically, like if I didn't make content about makeup, I wouldn't have as much makeup as I do. Like if I was just a regular ass person wearing makeup in my daily life, I would not own this many eyeshadow palettes. But because I make content and I like makeup, like I like making content about makeup and I like playing with it and I like talking about it with my friends and being able to be like, ooh, you love this and I love this. Like, I like that. But I think this is 100% correct because I think, especially with the younger generation, there isn't this perspective from the before times. If that makes sense. Gen Z never lived in a world where social media didn't exist and influencers didn't exist. At least never existed online in a world where influencers didn't exist, which is kind of scary. Next, I think influencers who post nothing about real world problems aren't very trustworthy, so I don't follow. I agree. I think that, especially now, if you're ignoring the world completely and like never mention it, I can't trust if you are on the right side of things. You know, like if you never talk about it, if you like keep real world issues out of your content online, I don't know where you stand on that thing. Yes, I agree for sure. Next, a lot of influencers keep banging on about going green, but fail to realize that not everyone has access to it. Yes, I think especially now, greenwashing is a huge issue with brands and skincare brands and makeup brands. But going green and going like fully ethical is a privilege in and of itself, because a lot of times if you don't have access to certain things, or if you have like restrictions because of your own body, your own diet, your own life, it's like being able to do all of that is a privilege. And I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like specifically having to do with like fast fashion, because actually there will be a question that I'll get to in a second. But yeah, I think I agree. I think balancing talking about being more environmentally friendly and more ethically friendly, balancing that with also understanding not everybody can do that is important. And the more and more I talk about Amazon specifically, I always try and reiterate that it's like, some people, Amazon is like the best option for them to be able to get things and to buy things, especially if you don't live in the city. So for me, not using Amazon is a privilege. Like, I get that. I will keep going on and on about Jeff Bezos and how evil he is, but I also understand that depending on what like industry you work in and you have to get things quickly, Amazon might be the only way you can get something. So yeah. Next, we're switching it up a little bit. Being at the front of the stage isn't always fun at concerts, especially when you're a short person like me. I have a slightly different perspective because whenever I'm at a show, I want to get to the front because I'm photographing the band. But if I didn't shoot live music, if I didn't actually need to get up to the front to get good photos, I probably would hang out towards the back because depending on the band and depending on the music and depending on like the fan base and the age of the fan base, being at the front can be like very kind of scary. If it's a big concert, it's very claustrophobic. I have the privilege to be able to be in a photo pit when I'm photographing at festivals and stuff and like big shows. But if I did not get access to that, I would not shove my way up to the front because especially when you're short, like if you're tiny, you could easily be like crushed at the front. So like yeah, you're right. It's a catch-22 because if you're short and you're towards the back, it's harder to see. But if you're at the front, you can be like trampled and crushed against the barrier and it's like not fun. This was an interesting one. Accountability shouldn't just be directed at influencers, but the audience as well. I mean, there's different levels of accountability and like obviously influencers have more influence than a viewer, but I do think that there's a lot of celebrities, influencers, anybody who they are not necessarily the worst people, but their stans and their fan bases are fucking horrifying. The audience as a whole, the fan base as a whole is far more destructive than the individual person that they stan. Yeah, audiences and large groups of people who all have one mindset about a thing can be very destructive. So yes. Next, YouTube hates small content creators, even though they were the reason YouTube became big. Yeah, it does. YouTube, it treats small creators in a very different way, obviously, because money is the backbone. Money is what they're after, and small creators don't make them the same amount of money. But there's so many people who I subscribe to that I have been subscribed to for so long that do not have millions and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And after YouTube phased out and started demonetizing channels that weren't really getting like consistent views or consistent interaction, was super shitty. I was like, why can't you just grandfather in the people who got partnered a long time ago? Like that was very frustrating when YouTube did that, because so many people who used to upload super regularly and have in recent years like kind of switched to other platforms or don't upload as regularly, they got an email one day and said,
"Oh, well, you're no longer going to earn money from your videos."
It's like, what the hell, YouTube? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it pissed me off when YouTube did that. Next, the original Tears for Fears Mad World is better than any slow piano cover. Yeah. I mean, I'm way less inclined to listen to slow piano cover of anything these days. But yeah, I think the original Tears for Fears version is dope. Sick and tired of merch that's just the name of the person or channel on a t-shirt and hoodie. Just don't buy it then. A lot of people don't really have a lot of access to art in the same way. Like I have a friend who drew my merch, like who drew the design, and I paid him to do it. So a lot of times if people are just starting out and making merch for the first time, they don't really have access to like an artist or somebody who's very talented at that thing. So a lot of it, I will admit, a lot of like early merch from people looks like
Graphic design is my passion.
But honestly, I feel like people should just kind of go with that and make things that are kind of dorky and more inside jokes. I mean, I don't buy merch usually that's just a person's name on a shirt. I don't think I own any merch that's just a person's name on a shirt. Yeah. So, just don't buy it then. Next, faux freckles are ugliness and ridiculous. No, I think faux freckles are cute. I understand why some people don't like faux freckles because for some people, their freckles are like an undesirable trait. Like, I totally get that. But I don't think they're ugly. Like, I think faux freckles, I think some people do them very weirdly and it just looks like they're cosplaying as like a rag doll. So some are, but like when done well, I think they look hella cute. This one really surprised me. Most kids aren't cute, especially when they aren't yours. Who hurt you? When a baby first pops out, they all look kind of fucking weird. Like like a 2-minute old baby, yeah, they're all kind of wrinkly and weird, but like, what? Kids are cute. Most babies aren't cute? No. Next, fast fashion influencers are the worst. Are they annoying? Yes. Are they the worst? No. There are worse people than fast fashion influencers. This, I feel like, is an entirely different topic for a video, but people who get like, I spent $500 at Shein, or I spent $1,000 at Zaffle, or whatever. Most of the time, it's because a brand has sent them an email and said, we will give you a stipend of money, a code, to be able to spend $500, just buy whatever you want, and then make a video about it. Because I've gotten those emails before. Like, I've gotten those emails, so I know they exist. And that's almost always probably what's happening, is that people get a code from a brand to make a video that's just a haul. That's just, look at all the weird, cheap shit that I bought. And it's a kind of non-tense. Some people who do things where they buy like costumes and they're like comparing cheap costumes to more expensive costumes, like that I at least feel like has some sort of like content involved, like a point, like a thesis statement to a video. But if it's just a video of like, look at the $500 worth of Shein I bought, it's like, there are shirts on there that are like $6. If you're actually spending $500 at fast fashion websites, you can afford to buy better clothing and less of it. And you should. Like, if you legitimately can spend that amount of money on clothes, don't spend it at a fast fashion website. As a fat person, as a person that is plus sized, it's very frustrating that the websites that have the most options for plus size bodies are often fast fashion websites. That's a topic that could be discussed, because it's like, why is it that the sustainable clothing brands have things that go small, medium, large, or even go as far as extra small, small, medium, large, so they don't fit you, or the clothing that can fit fat bodies are like $300 for a shirt. My Instagram ads lately are weird, so maybe I'll make an entire video about that. Would you be interested in that? Okay. This one was honestly, like, Josh and I like talked about this the other day when I was screenshotting this. Plastic surgery isn't feminist. When it's for cosmetic reasons, it's always upholding the beauty standard. I disagree. I think doing what you want to do with your body, like having the freedom to do that, that's inherently feminist, because it's like you get to choose what you want to do and you have the right to choose what you want to do with your body. And if that's plastic surgery, then go for it. Like, I think like upholding beauty standards is so vague. Like, beauty standards are different in various places. And I think if somebody doesn't like their nose, they have gone through their whole life not liking a certain thing about their face, and they have the means to be able to feel better about that via plastic surgery, they can do that. Go right ahead. But be honest about it. That's, I think, where the issue gets really fuzzy, because you have so many of these Instagram influencers that are getting plastic surgery but not disclosing it and saying that I got this butt just from working hard and from doing squats. It's like, no, you didn't. Like, if you're gonna get plastic surgery, like, own it. Talk about it. Be honest about it. If you're an influencer, if you're somebody who has a reach, an audience, especially of young people, being honest about getting plastic surgery, I think, is very important, because all you're gonna do is warp what people expect people to look like that are like unaltered via surgery. If you get a butt lift, if you get a butt implant, or if you get something in your body, just be honest about it. If you don't, if you're not honest about it, that's where people get these false sense of beauty standards, because it's like, wait, if I can work hard to get there, if I don't look like that, I'm not working hard enough. You know, I don't care if people get it. Like, I don't give a shit if people get it. If I wasn't terrified of surgery, if I was not absolutely terrified of surgery and my insurance would cover it, I would get a breast reduction. I would. But like, I'm totally scared of it, and I don't think my insurance would cover it. So if you're gonna get plastic surgery, just be honest about it. Don't tell lies saying that you just worked hard to get there. Next, it is getting hard to trust TikTok reviews. It seems like products go viral constantly, but are hype. Yeah. I think because of the length of TikToks, because they're so short, there's really no way you can have like a a thorough review of anything. And kind of like what I talked about earlier, how TikTok products and people who blow up products on TikTok, it's like they're acting like it's a new thing when it's like, no, it's not. They're just, most of the time it's posting a video to be viral because it's so easy to go viral on TikTok. So yeah, I agree. I mean, but I don't watch TikTok, so I don't watch TikTok reviews, so I don't necessarily know. I just watch YouTube videos about TikTok. Okay, more TikTok. I'm tired of people saying TikTok ruins songs. The creators are getting recognition they deserve. I definitely think TikTok is a great resource for musicians and for people who are trying to break out of, say, like a local scene. Yeah, I think TikTok is a great resource and a great way for artists to get their songs to blow up. I think that there's a lot of people who don't credit the original music, and they like, it's hard to kind of connect things back to the original creator of things. And there's definitely some songs that have been used in like less than desirable ways. Like there was a guy, I think the song was called Dissolve, and his sounds were getting used in like weird daddy POV videos, daddy daughter POV. It was weird. So there's definitely some instances where songs have been like misused, but the song still blows up and the people still get plays. And you know, I mean, Lil Nas X is famous because of TikTok. This was an interesting one. Practical VFX artists, specifically makeup and prosthesis artists, deserve way more love on YouTube. I think you're correct. I think you're right. I agree with you. A lot of why people stopped posting a lot of that stuff was because YouTube was flagging content for like violence or gore because people were doing like more realistic VFX makeup, which I think was really shitty that YouTube did that. So yeah, they should reverse that and have people be able to post more content about that stuff without getting flagged for like violent or gory content. But I think that's why people don't post it that much anymore. People stopped posting a lot of it because it would be so much work and then they wouldn't get really any of the reward from like views and ad money. I wish YouTube didn't have that policy. Next, Melt Cosmetics quality does not warrant their prices. I am agreeing more and more these days. I'm still salty about the Smoke Sessions palette. I still will be. I will be until the end of time. They should be no more expensive than like Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes. I feel like they should be the same price. Yeah, I think Melt is overpriced for the quality. I think sometimes the quality is really good and would warrant the price, but I think because their quality is so like hit and miss when it comes to eyeshadows, yeah. And last but not least, oh my god, this was so long. Fuck. There's no such thing as a makeup investment. Investments increase in value. Makeup just expires. I feel like if you're talking about specifically like the definition of investment, like the very concrete definition of investment, yeah, technically. But like, I feel like a specific situation where this isn't true is with like working makeup artists, where you have a kit that you build up. So you have a range of complexion products, a range of eyeshadows, a range of brushes, a range of foundations, like different finishes. That kit is an investment. Is the product necessarily increasing in value? No, but you end up making more money because you have that kit. You end up making that money back from doing makeup artistry. If you were getting paid to do makeup, which that gets more confusing because if you're like an Instagram person and you're a makeup artist, you're doing makeup on yourself, you also get paid. This is a very convoluted and like confusing point. If you're going off like the literal technical definition of investment, yes, because makeup does expire and it's not something you're gonna keep forever. But if you're doing makeup and getting paid more to do the makeup, if you're earning back equal or more money doing makeup than what you spent on the makeup, I would say that's an investment. Does that make sense? I don't know. This was a complicated one. I'm like, what am I even saying? I don't know. Was that everything? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thanks for those. Thanks for the unpopular opinions for today's song of the day. Let's see. Oh, let's have the song of the day be Mad World by Tears for Fears. That's your song of the day. Mad World by Tears for Fears. It's an old classic. It's pretty good. If you haven't heard the original, if you did not know the original was by Tears for Fears, go check it out. Yeah, that's your song of the day. Let me know what you thought of these opinions. Let's start a discussion in the comments below. If you want to see more of me, please follow me on other social medias, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Twitch. And if you want to see more of me here, subscribe. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload videos twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And you can hit the bell notification to get notified when I upload those videos, because they're never really on a specific schedule as far as time goes. So, subscribe. That would be awesome. Hope y'all are having a good week, good day. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!